What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sports Talk with Hawk. The training camp previews continue. We are basically 24 hours from the main preseason. A lot of starters are going to play in the first game. We got the Panthers, the Colts. I know the Browns are starting Shedeur Sanders. And even some other older quarterbacks are willing to start and play the first game. So, very interesting developments with how teams may handle playing the starters. I'm not sure what's going to happen across the league, but there are definitely some teams we're going to be watching this weekend. Training camps, full swing. We got a few more we got to get done. We got to get the previews done before we go live on August 25th. So let's jump into it. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back in. Here we go. The next training camp preview, we are going west. We are going out west, and we're going to look at, first of all, the Arizona Cardinals, a team that I am very high on if the pieces can all come together. They did an outstanding job with free agency, some of the trades that they've made. They drafted very, very well. If Gannon, I guess it's not even Gannon, because I think the defense is actually going to be really good. Really good. When I do my fantasy preview, I actually have the Cardinals defense is one of the top 5 defenses, I believe, for this year. Especially if you're a team that you believe you're going to be in the playoffs, they could easily make a huge impact for you fantasy-wise. I believe the Cardinals defense is going to be good. I mean, let's jump in. The strongest position is the defensive line. Josh Sweat. Do I think he necessarily deserved all the money he got? No, they overpaid, but they got Josh Sweat. They have Calais Campbell, which is good, because I think what Campbell's going to be is he's the bridge. Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Mississippi, is right behind him. And I believe he's there for the veteran leadership. Dalvin Tomlinson is the second defensive tackle. LJ Collier is backing him up. You got Dante Stills as the backup defensive end and Darius Robinson on the other side. But then the secondary, and this is a guy I was really high on, I thought Will Johnson was way underdrafted. He's in that back secondary with Jalen Thompson, Budda Baker, Max Melton, and Garrett Williams. They've also got Denzel Burke and Kytre Clark as backup corners, and I think that the defense for the Cardinals, I believe, can give a lot of people fits. So what's my concern? Offensively. And it comes down to Marvin Harrison Jr. and Tanner McBride, but can there be a third person that really steps up? Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson, Zay Jones. You need somebody else to take the pressure off of those two. It hasn't happened yet. The offensive line is definitely decent. Kelvin Beachum is actually their backup tackle. He can play left or right. They got Jonah Williams from Cincinnati, which I thought was a really big pickup for them. And if Kyler Murray can just stay out of his own head, and nobody's been able to get him to do this yet, but if he can stay out of his own head, and the offense just plays consistent football without turning it over, I fully believe that this team is set up in a position to make a really big run for the playoffs. Gannon will have to show that he can coach. His side of the ball has gotten better and better both years. I believe he is a good defensive coach. I don't know if he's a great head coach. I don't know if he's a good head coach. But I do know that offensively, it's going to come down to Kyler Murray and the receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray need to get on the same page. You could tell Harrison Jr. was not comfortable. Maybe that's because the quarterbacks that Harrison had in college actually worked on their craft compared to Kyler Murray. We know Kyler is somewhat lazy, doesn't fully lock in, and that hurts your receivers, especially a rookie that came in last year. Second year, hopefully a full offseason of him and Kyler talking. I hope it's a huge sophomore jump for Marvin Harrison Jr. because that is a wasted talent if the quarterback isn't going to do his job. Running back room is very good. You got Connor, Trey Benson, DeMarcado, Dallas. The running back room is outstanding. They can go 4 deep. Offensive line is decent. The defensive line is really strong. Secondary is young, but very technical sound. I love this team. And strength of schedule is 27. So as we always do, let's look at the first 6 games of the season. The first 6 games are as follows. At New Orleans, home against the Panthers. At the 49ers, home against the Seahawks. Home against the Titans, and at the Indianapolis Colts. I'll throw you game 7 at home against the Green Bay Packers because week 8 is their bye week. Perfect bye week. I love week 8, 9, and 10 are the perfect bye weeks. Week 5 is way too early. Week 6 is too early. Week 7 you can deal with, but week 8, 9, and 10, those are really good bye weeks. That gives you a really good sample size of what you need to then work on for the future. That's what it is. So, because of that, I think it really plays in their favor because they come back in week 9 is at Dallas. We all believe Dallas is going to be very much lackluster. Very much lackluster. Now, with it being so lackluster, it gives them a good chance to jump out on it. New Orleans, I got that as a W. Carolina, W. Home against Seattle and at San Francisco are division games. They've got a great shot to win both. They have a great chance to lose both. Both options are there. Home against Tennessee, I don't think the offense with Cam Ward will be quite up to the full level yet by week number 5, so I'll give them that W. At Indianapolis, like I said yesterday, it is a huge game for Indianapolis. That will be really big. That will be a huge game for the Colts for one reason alone. You've got a young, fast defense coming in to play you with a young, fast offense, and you've got a really stout defense, well coached, lots of money on that defensive side of the ball for the Colts against an offense on the other side that has question marks. So both offenses will be going against defenses that are better than them. That game, October 12th in Indianapolis against the Cardinals, to me is going to make or break maybe too big of a phrase to use, but it's going to show you a lot about both of those teams. They're both dome teams. It's in a dome. They have the same question marks on offense and defense. Defense we're a little bit more confident in. Offense, we're really not sure what we're going to get every year. So that's a huge game for me in week 6. If they can come out of there, let's just go 7 because they got their bye week 8. If they can come out of those 7 weeks 5-2, minimum 4-3, but 5-2, I'm saying playoffs are sitting there as an absolute possibility. Absolute possibility. If you could get through those 5-2, my gosh, you are looking really good. Could they get through them 6-1? We've seen this Cardinal team start out and shoot up like a rocket. Could they start 6-1? The offense is going to run this. The defense is going to be there. If the offense plays mistake-free football, don't turn it over all the time, the defense is going to hold you. If you can consistently pin the other defense or pin the other offense inside the 25-yard line, this defense is going to stop them 9 times out of 10. I think this defense is really, really good. And I think they've gotten underneath Kyle Shanahan's skin. Jonathan Gannon has played Kyle Shanahan really well. He's played Sean McVay really, really well. So with all that said, what's success for the Cardinals this year? Playoffs. Purely and simply playoffs. They've spent the money. They've drafted well. If they don't make the playoffs, you've got to figure out why. If it's the receiver room, get more receivers. But if it is the quarterback, make the call to move off of him. Get out from under Kyler Murray. Other teams will take him. Other teams took Geno Smith. Other teams took Justin Fields. We still have the Colts trying to make Anthony Richardson work. The Steelers, for gosh sakes, brought in Aaron Rodgers. The Giants have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Teams will take Kyler. I hope Kyler did enough this offseason to dial it in and lead this team, because this team deserves better. This team absolutely deserves better. All right, so there is a team I am high on. Now a team I'm not. And yes, this team has the 32nd strength of schedule. I know. Follow me on this, though. Before you guys are like, oh, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. Follow me on this. When's the last time McCaffrey, Williams, and Bosa have been healthy for a full season together? I try to take injuries out most of the time when I'm doing previews and predictions. But we have a track record, and Trent Williams is very old. And the competition within the division at the end right across from him has gotten much better. He's now got to deal with DeMarcus Lawrence, Jared Verse, and Josh Sweat. Good luck, Mr. Williams, being 40 years old. You're outstanding. But your ankles can't handle what they can do. I love Christian McCaffrey. To me, he is the best running back. I know Philly fans with Saquon Barkley will disagree. Christian McCaffrey is the best all-around running back in the NFL when healthy, period, bar none, done. Saquon Barkley is one of the best running backs. Pure running back goes to Saquon Barkley. All-around back goes 1,000% to Christian McCaffrey. He can route run just as good as the receivers can. But it comes down to health. Their strength of schedule, here we go. First 6 weeks, at Seattle, at New Orleans, home against Arizona, home against Jacksonville, at the Rams, at the Buccaneers. Now, then you have home against the Falcons, at the Texans in week 8. Okay? That's the hard part of their schedule. So I will say this, if they can get through that gauntlet, starting in week 12, you close out with these 6 games. Home against Carolina, at Cleveland, home against Tennessee, at Indianapolis, home against Chicago, and you close out home against Seattle. So could this be a season where they're really not that good, but they could sneak in because of strength of schedule? Absolutely. Absolutely. Could this also be the year where they just flat out fall apart? We do not know what's going on with Brandon Ayuk on offense. At receiver, Jawan Jennings stupidly has asked for another contract. His production, and this is the thing, and most people are on Terry McLaurin's side, and I get why they're on McLaurin's side, but I also understand the Commander's side of let's just wait this out, because they're not going to give him a lot. If they gave him a 1-year extension, if they offered him a 1-year extension, I'm not sure he's going to accept it. Now, I do not know if they have done that. I don't know that. I would, after looking at everything, if he wants guaranteed money, I'd guarantee his contract for this year, give him half of the next year's contract automatically guaranteed, and we can look at it again after the season, but we'll guarantee it so you've got money if you get injured. He's the longest tenured Commander, blah, blah, blah. Jawan Jennings had, because Deebo Samuel got hurt and Pearsall was, coming back from that horrific accident, and then, Ayuk gets hurt. He was a product of circumstance, and teams are aware of one-hit wonders. One-hit wonders don't get paid a ton unless they had something prior to that, and Jawan Jennings hasn't. So the strongest position for this team, I easily could have put somewhere else, but defensive line to me, if Bosa is healthy, Mykel Williams I thought was a really, really good draft pick. Nick Bosa, obviously. Jordan Elliott and Kevin Givens in the middle. Alfred Collins, the backup, and C.J. West. Yes, this is a little bit of a homer take. I love C.J. West. I really wanted somebody else to draft him. But C.J. West, the defensive tackle from IU. And then they got Gross Matos coming in as the third pass rusher as well. Robert Saleh back. The linebackers, they're okay. The secondary, I've got some questions about. I definitely have some questions about the secondary. But the reality is the offensive line is the weakest. Jake Brendel, the center, solid. Trent Williams, if he is able to be healthy, is good. But everybody else has been pushed around. Everybody else doesn't really possess the ability, or have not shown the ability, to protect Brock Purdy the way he needs to be protected. Brock Purdy is not an improviser. He's a system guy. They paid him a little bit too much, but you pay your quarterbacks. If McCaffrey and Williams are hurt, the season is done. If Bosa is hurt, Saleh will be able to figure out how to somewhat mask it, but it won't be as easy. The defense will still be noticeably less effective when it comes to the rush. But if McCaffrey and Williams go out, the season is over. If Williams goes out, I think the season is over. If McCaffrey goes out, they've got running backs, and sometimes they've had to go 4 running backs deep with how healthy their running back room is not. But their first 6 games, Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, Jaguars, Rams, Buccaneers. I think they go 2-4. They could go 1-5, and they could go 3-3. The road games, at Rams, at Buccaneers, automatic losses. I think they lose week 1 to Seattle because I believe McDonald's defense has the advantage, especially there. The offense with Sam Darnold will look a little bit different. I think Robert Saleh's defense will have to work in. So the game that I'm looking at most is Arizona at home in week 3. If the defense for the Cardinals is on, that game could be 17-13 Cardinals. I really think they can go 2-4 in their first 6. And then they still have to play the Rams again, still have to play the Seahawks again, still have to play the Cardinals again. And don't count out the Bears in late December. Ben Johnson will have that team going. If Caleb Williams is not doing it right, he'll take Caleb Williams out of the equation, have Caleb throw only 15 times like the Philadelphia Eagles had Jalen Hurts do. He'll run the ball down their throats if he can run it, and just play the short game. I don't see the 49ers really just running away from any of these teams. Saleh, I think, is a much better defensive coordinator. I believe in Kyle Shanahan, but the personnel is not there. The personnel for the 49ers is not there. A success for the 49ers right now would be making the playoffs. A failure would once again be missing the playoffs, going 6-11, or worse, 5-12. Teaser, they may be my fourth place team in the NFC West. They're just so old. And old doesn't play, especially if you've got to win. Old doesn't play in December when bones are hurting. San Francisco gets chilly, but it's not Buffalo. Like, it's mostly nice weather. Teams come to San Francisco and they're happy to play in San Francisco. There's going to be some young teams at the end of the year. The Titans, the Colts, the Bears. All three of those teams can beat them. All three of them. And I think it's just personnel. They're too old. They got $47 million in cap space, but when you look at next year already, so you look at 2026, they have $8 million because Brock Purdy's contract comes into play. The future cap space is really interesting because the ones that currently have, and I'll give you the top 5 projected cap space for 2026. Titans with $85 million, Chargers with $84 million, Raiders with $76 million, Rams with $74 million, and then the Commanders with $57 million. Those are your top 5 projected teams with available money. Are you kidding me? The Chargers, Rams, Commanders all have that over $55 million in cap space each. The Rams are staying young on defense. They're going to pay Jared Verse. They've done such a good job. Like, this is what I was talking about. Let's close it out again because I was asked about it. So let's close it out expounding upon what I said yesterday. The general managers now know how to manipulate the salary cap to this level. Next year, as of right now, the Saints still have $55 million in dead cap money. They're already $25 million over the cap once the league year rolls around next year. $55 million in dead cap. The Eagles have $42 million in dead cap, yet will still have roughly $17 million available. And they're going to be able to figure this out. The Jets have $42 million in dead. They, though, still have $52 million available. Like, the really good general managers, and let's be honest, the Saints, for everything they did of kicking the can down the road time and time again, it comes due to pay the piper, and they did it wrong because to be able to pay the piper, you got to pay them. And they didn't just pay them. They kind of let everything keep going. There are plenty of teams with little to no dead cap money next year that can just go after whoever they want to with all this money. The Rams and Commanders have zero dead cap. That is a valuable asset to have. No dead cap, no money you're working around. The GMs, the general managers matter. Joe Douglas, I thought, was a really good general manager for the Jets. Okay? I don't think he should have been let go. He missed on a quarterback. That team is filled with talent from his draft class, from his drafts, from his moves. The Jets are not bankrupt of talent. They still don't have a great quarterback, but they got Breece Hall, they got Garrett Wilson, they got Sauce Gardner. I mean, come on. The Buccaneers, zero dead cap. Okay? This is the way things are. If you're going to have a bunch of dead cap, you're not going to be able to compete at this level. You're not. It's that simple. And the managers that understand how to manipulate the salary cap and look 1, 2, 3 years down the road, knowing what we need to have them do. I told you guys, I am the franchise guy. When I play Madden, NBA, MLB The Show, I play franchise mode. I am the general manager. And in those games, they have the projections. I look at them. I manipulate the contracts to make sure that every year it gives me what I need. I can backload the contract, front load the contract, give the contract straight flat, which means the same amount of money year after year for the life of the contract. You can do so many different things. A good general manager knows how to put those pieces together and play Tetris with contracts for their team. And the teams that are good consistently in the NFL now are the teams that have general managers that have figured out how to do that. That simple. The Steelers aren't great at it. Steelers aren't great at managing money. They're not great at what's going on. And normally they move off of the expensive receivers. We've seen that happen multiple times. Expensive offensive personnel. We've seen that. The DK Metcalf signing is going to be really interesting. But when you look at it, the teams that will win have general managers that understand what needs to be done. All right, that is it. Number 1 of 2 for the NFC West is down. And we'll finish up with the Rams and Seahawks tomorrow. It is Wednesday night. 2 more days left in the week for the work week. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday evening. Then make the best of the Thursday you have tomorrow. Looking forward to Friday and the weekend. Have an absolutely fantastic night, guys. As always, I deeply appreciate you guys hanging out with me. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I am Hawk, and I'm out. Have a great night.